then the debate isn't really about being shirtless. It also becomes a debate about what kind of bodies people think are okay to show in public.
While I was out on my run in Venice, I started noticing people giving me weird looks. I found out that running shirtless in Venice is actually illegal.
You don't mess with the chafe. If you can run with your shirt off, it's so freeing and so much better.
Hi, I'm Hannah. This is What in the World from the BBC World Service. And today we're talking about something that is dividing opinion around the world. Running without your top on. And to start off with, as we get into this very controversial debate, I'm speaking to two runners, Jen, who is in London, and Hardik, who's from India, but currently in the US. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So you have both started running without a shirt on in this quite intense heat that we've been having recently. Jen, tell me how you got into it and how you've been finding it.
Basically, I was frustrated with how hot it was. I can't put it any other way. I would say I haven't been super confident with my body until recently. So that was a really big step for me to go outside in just the sports bra. But one day I just said, I've had enough. It's too hot. I need to feel a bit more free on my runs. So I went for it.
Hardik, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always ran with the t-shirt, and more so because of how people perceive me in India, right? Like, it's not many people who run without a t-shirt here. I mean, I've seen a lot of them in, when I watch videos online about of abroad. But in India, there's not many people who run shirtless, and the people who do are always the people who have six packs. So it's sort of the aesthetics that has been traded for utility. And then you realize that, okay, your body is, it needs that sort of breathability when you're running for a long time, right? Because when you're running like without a t-shirt, your sweat evaporates faster. You don't get chafing when you're running for like very long distances. So it's just easier utility wise, and also just to, mentally you learn a lot about your body and get more comfortable with it while you're running without a t-shirt.
What kind of reactions have you had in India to that?
In some places, I would say people do like start looking at you, but I don't think, it's that often. It's more so in your head that you start thinking that, okay, people are really projecting their, ideologies on you.
What about you, Jen? Have you had a similar experience?
Yeah, I mean, in real life, it was just nobody noticed. Nobody really cared. The world changed for me because I suddenly felt confident enough to do that. But actually outside, I don't think anyone looked twice. When I posted about it online, though, I had a really positive reaction. People were like, well done, but a lot of people were like, I wish I had the confidence to do that. And I'm just really hopeful that by posting that kind of content, people feel more confident in themselves. I'm by no means the most athletic build, but I'm way more comfortable with my body these days. And I hope that everyone gets to that stage where they feel like they can run more comfortably with their shirt off, because it is really freeing. And I mean, Hardik, you mentioned chafe. You don't mess with the chafe. If you can run with your shirt off, it's so freeing and so much better.
Yeah, don't mess with the chafe. I love that. Some people do have really strong views on this, right? Some people say that both men and women should have a shirt on or a top on when they're running in public. What would you say to that?
I'd say, how does it affect you? Because you don't have to look. It's not your body that's being on display. If someone's confident enough to do that, and it's how they run most confidently and comfortably, how does it affect you? Maybe I'd say stay in your lane, because if that's how I want to run and that's how I exercise and I feel good in my body, let that be, I'd say.
Hardik, what about you?
I think it's more of like, you look at law and everything of a country, right? It's like that there's nothing against running shirtless, right? It's more of the way that, we have our societal norms that are in place, right? It's more appropriate to run with a t-shirt on, or to go out wearing more full clothes, right? For example, in many societies, that's the case. And the minute we see someone running shirtless and just out there, right, we were like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, it's a little bit confusing because it's something that you've never seen. It's like, where is this coming in this place? So luckily, right now in India, there's a big streak of there's like a fitness wave, as you call it. So people are getting comfortable to the idea of running shirtless. People are getting comfortable to the idea of seeing different body types, run shirtless.
And Hardik, do you think there's a difference for men and women when it comes to running shirtless?
I've seen like a lot of eyes go at them, like, why are they like, because in India, to be honest, there are a lot of societal norms around, covering your body, especially when you're in public. So a lot of eyes are at them more than us. When it's a woman running, like, without the top off and just like wearing sports bra, you've got a lot more attention there because there's a lot more questioning. It goes, oh, like, why is her family allowing this? How can she be allowed to leave the house wearing something like this?
And Jen, what about you? Do you think there's a difference for men and women?
Something that might have come up more for me because I'm a woman is this idea that, hey, why do men get to be completely shirtless? Because obviously I would never run without a sports bra. I think that would be completely uncomfortable. But there is this sort of stigma placed on women where maybe we do need to cover up a bit more up top.
Guys, best of luck with your upcoming races. It's been really great speaking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we've also been hearing from some other runners about this.
Me personally, I don't think it's appropriate a lot of the time for men to run with their tops off. I'm all for like body positivity and stuff, but I think a lot of the time it's like muscly men who know that they've got a good figure who kind of just want to show off and stuff. But I think a lot of the time you see it when it's in like a busy public space where people are kind of going about their day and stuff, and then there's people just running around with their tops off. I just think it's quite inappropriate and can sometimes make people feel a bit like awkward and stuff. I know I felt like that in the past when I've seen it. But each to their own.
Hi, I'm Mike Nacarella. I'm 26 and I'm from New York City. I started running around 3 years ago. This summer, my family and I went to Italy to celebrate my grandparents' 60th wedding anniversary. We spent some time in Florence and Venice, and of course I packed my running shoes. But while I was out on my run in Venice, I started noticing people giving me weird looks, yelling at me, pointing, and I realized pretty quickly something was off. And I finally stopped to look up the local laws to see what was going on. And that's when I found out that running shirtless in Venice is actually illegal. I was embarrassed, but the experience did teach me something valuable. As a runner, you should be looking up local laws wherever you go, not just for safety or etiquette, but also laws around social norms related to exercise, because that's what you would expect someone to do visiting your home. Now, do I think running shirtless is okay? For me, yeah. It's completely normal where I'm from, so I never thought otherwise. And I'll continue to do it where I live. But that doesn't mean that it's okay everywhere.
One place that this has become a heated debate is in South Korea. And I'm speaking to Ijin Shim from the BBC's Korean service.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, welcome. So why is shirtless running causing such a stir in South Korea?
One reason, I suppose, could be that Koreans tend to care about dressing for the right time and place. Of course, attitudes towards showing skin are changing, but some people, especially from older generations, may still feel uncomfortable with it. And, some people simply don't want to see strangers' bare bodies, such as body hair or nipples, something like that. But at the same time, though, plenty of people don't understand the controversy at all. They say they're just running past you for a few seconds. Why does it matter?
So what are the rules about this?
There isn't a nationwide law that bans shirtless running. However, last year, some local authorities have asked runners not to run shirtless. So, for example, a no shirtless running banner was put up at Yeouido Hangang River Park. And furthermore, a similar sign was also put up at Namsan Park.
Are more people running shirtless now because of the heat that we're seeing? Is it locals or foreigners or both?
Actually, I think the extreme heat has actually made the debate even bigger. And people disagree about whether taking your shirt off really helps in very hot weather. People who support shirtless running say it definitely feels cooler and that other runners understand why they do it. But on the other hand, people against it say it's actually better to wear proper sports clothes to control your body temperature. And some even say, if it's that hot, just run early in the morning when no one's around.
Hello, my name is Sumin Yi, and I'm 25 years old right now. Actually, I don't really care about people running shirtless in public, since Korea had a really hot weather at summer. It was also really humid. So I think if people go run in these kind of weather, the shirt or anything they wear will get soaked and it will get really heavy. I think there's a total difference in man and woman running shirtless because all the answer I just said is based on men being shirtless, because women can't, like, never be shirtless in public. So I think it's a big privilege for a man to be shirtless and show their naked bodies in public, and that's way more acceptable than women. And even if they wear some sports bra or tight clothes or shorts, they're not really like entirely free from someone watching them. And they can be maybe like dangerous for only wearing what they want to wear.
Ijin, I have been reading quite a lot of comments about this on Reddit, and a lot of them talk about people's bodies. So I want to read you one that said most Koreans feel uncomfortable watching other people shirtless unless they're shredded. And even then, some might view it as bragging or attention seeking. But overall, it does seem to be a bit more acceptable to run shirtless if you've got an athletic physique, right?
Yes, that's something you see quite a lot in the comments. And some people say they don't mind shirtless running if the runner has a fit or muscular body. But I think that's interesting because then the debate isn't really about being shirtless. It also becomes a debate about what kind of bodies people think are okay to show in public. So people's reactions can be very different depending on what the runners look like.
So, as we've heard, there are lots of different reasons why people might choose to run without a shirt on. And it's not just in South Korea that some people have an issue with this. What are attitudes like towards it in other places?
In 2022, Sorrento, a popular tourist town in Italy, banned people from walking around the streets shirtless or wearing only swimwear such as bikini. And people could face a fine of up to 500 euros for breaking the rule. And there have also been similar rules in parts of Florence. In some places, people can be fined for going shirtless or wearing only swimwear away from the beach. So this isn't only a Korean debate. And ideas about what's okay to wear in public can depend a lot on the place.
Yeah, totally. Especially France and Italy are countries where it's not that uncommon for women to sunbathe topless on the beach. But it seems that there are very different rules when it comes to beach and city etiquette. Ijin, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.
Before I go, we really enjoyed talking about health and wellness on What in the World. And I've been scrolling through YouTube looking at some of your comments, and I want to read some of them out from an episode that we did on weightlifting, on this new study that found that lifting weights can actually help you to live longer. So Ashley said, the change in people is drastic, sometimes both mentally and physically. I work in a health club and see so many amazing turnarounds in people every week from lifting weights. And I just found that comment really inspirational. So thank you for leaving us that. And if you want to watch that episode, it's on the BBC World Service YouTube channel. Listen wherever you get your BBC podcast. And while you're on YouTube, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe and share. And we always really love hearing from you. But for now, I'm Hannah. This is What in the World from the BBC World Service. And we'll see you next time. Hey, me again. So after all that shirtless running chat, I've been inspired to try it myself. Here I am in London, feeling wild and free. And if you want to give it a go, just make sure you check out the rules where you are, because some countries and cities can be quite specific. So let us know how it goes, and happy running.